I'd like to talk about the eagle concept for a short time. The following is a list of 7 rules that you should follow this weekend. I will talk about what the eagle principle taught me about myself and how it continues to grow and change my life as an investment in people. To make these 7 rules work in your life, please pay close attention and follow them. To start, I'd like to remind you of something I said last year. Not many of us really know who we are. The diamond mines of South Africa are not the richest place on earth. It's not South America's gold mines. The oil fields of Iran, Iraq, or Kuwait are not the richest place on earth. The wealthiest spot on this planet is not too far from your house. As a matter of fact, you probably passed it on your way to the airport. The wealthiest spot on this planet is the cemetery. You may ask why? Because buried in the cemetery are dreams that were never fulfilled, books that were never written, visions that never became reality. In the cemetery are paintings that were never painted, songs that were never sung, businesses that were never opened. Great men that died as poor men are in the cemetery. My greatest dream and wish for you this weekend is that you will make a decision to not add to the wealth of the cemetery, that you will be completely empty when you go to the cemetery, because you will have reached all of your goals and achieved all of your dreams before you die. I hope that when you die, you will be left with nothing, that you can say, I've done everything I ever dreamed of doing, and I'm ready to leave this world happy. There is a story about a man from the Bahamas, which is where I'm from. The country is lovely. This old man lived on one of our islands outside of a farm where they grew camels. As he walked by the plantation, he looked over the wall and saw that the owner of the plantation was cutting down a big tree. The old man watched as the men cut the tree into pieces and stacked the logs to burn. The old man stopped for a moment and watched as the big pieces of log were thrown on top of the fire. He then ran to the gate and yelled to the farm owner, "Sir, may I ask you for a piece of that wood that you're throwing away?" And the man said to him, "This is nothing but junk, and this tree is a nuisance. We are cutting it down because it is in the way of our progress, and we want to throw this out of our plantation. It is nothing but junk." And the old man, with a twinkle in his eye, said to the owner, "Can I have a piece of your junk?" The plantation owner was irritated by the old man and says, "Go ahead, take it away. I have no need for this junk." And the old man picked up a large piece of that trunk of the tree and hoisted it on his shoulders. He stumbled back to our island's village while carrying this big piece of trash. He took the junk into his small house and put it in the middle of the floor. Then he did something that most of us don't do very often. His knife and hammer were in his hands, and he walked around the piece of junk as if a ghost were inside him. He kept pausing for a moment. He looked at the trash and seemed to see something in it. He grabbed his hammer and chisel all of a sudden like he was possessed. He then used the hammer and knife to beat the junk, and as he swung, pieces flew from that piece of junk, and he worked as if he was under a spell, and he kept on sweating and beating and chiseling the piece of junk. And when he was finished, he freed from that piece of junk a beautiful golden eagle. He was so tired and exhausted. At 04:30 a.m. in the morning, he fell among the chips of wood and fell asleep, clutching tightly to the eagle he had freed from that piece of junk. The next morning he awoken, and he took the beautiful eagle that he had chiseled from the junk, and he placed it on the porch of his little hut. A few days later, the owner of the plantation came by in his beautiful automobile, chauffeured by his driver. And as he passed the cabin going toward his plantation, his eyes caught this beautiful bird. And he told his driver to stop the car. And they pulled into the little village yard and asked the old man, "Where did you get that from?" The old man asked, "Why do you want it?" He said, "How much would you take for that beautiful eagle?" And the old man said, for a few moments with twinkles in his eyes, "I would take $5,000 for that eagle." The owner of the plantation was so excited because he thought, that is worth more than 5,000. He pulled out his wallet, wrote a $5,000 check, and gave it to the old man. Then he picked up the eagle, ran to his car, and said with a big grin, I got treasure. The old man looked at the check, kissed it, and said, one man's trash is another man's treasure. Then he rode off into the distance. That piece of stump or log, I think that's some of you in this room. Some people believe that your dreams will never come true. Over the past year, people at work, at home, and with your friends and family have all asked you, why are you still with the Eagle team? Are you not interested in doing something safer? Why don't you do something that will last longer? There's no way to make money in this market. You should calm down and do something important. But I want you to know that Myles Munroe has come to look at you tonight because I see a bird in you that they don't. I think that every person in this building has a cool, beautiful bird inside them that only the person who made them can see. You have the power to fly to heights no one else has ever thought possible, in my opinion. I want you to help yourself if you think that, because you are sure that you believe that. The poorest person in the world is the one who doesn't have a dream. And the most frustrated man in the world is a man with a dream that doesn't become reality. Most men dream, but only a few wake up to fulfill that dream. You are the few. The world has 8 billion people on this planet today. And 94,000 was born last night. And most of that 8 billion will die, never fulfilling their dream. But you are the exception. You have chosen to walk away from the crowd and do not get lost in the norm. You have decided that you deserve the right and the obligation to give your dream a chance. You have decided that you will not die wishing you had done it. You have decided that you will leave the pack. And you have become the rare breed called the eagle. I want to give you the 7 principles that separate the eagle from every other bird. These principles are for human application. How do I know this? Because the eagle is the only bird in the entire kingdom of animals that has these 7 characteristics. In a strange way, the artist only sees himself as like an eagle. Interestingly enough, he says that this bird is how he feels about people. When I read that years ago, I decided that if the Creator said he was like an eagle and wanted us to be like him, then I should study the eagle. In fact, I was drawn to Eagle Team Industries when I saw an eagle on the invitation. Because I said so, anyone or any group that wants to be like an eagle can be my friend. Are you ready for the best weekend ever? Then this idea is the first thing I want you to write down so you can leave the pigeons. Only eagles can fly. You'll never see an eagle in a group. There are no eagle flocks. The eagles like to be alone. There is one thing that scientists have learned about eagles after studying them for a long time. It takes a while to find an eagle. In light of this, when you decide to follow through on your goal and dream, the people who used to run with you become uncomfortable. When you decide to be everything you were meant to be, your best friends become a problem. They can't make you into the person they want you to be anymore. So when you decide to be successful the way you were meant to be, all of a sudden you feel very alone. If you are going to rise above the clatter of ducks and the chirping of pigeons, you're going to have to be willing to fly alone. Do not come and join this company if you need the approval of your family, if you need the approval of your community, if you need the approval of your social associations. Because if you're going to be successful, the first decision you have to make is it's going to be lonely. Up here, eagles fly alone because they fly at altitudes other birds are not built for. Are there eagles in this room? Then I want you to join me at the top, because up here, the air is thin. Up here, where success lies, the air is light. You are built for this altitude. So get used to people disagreeing with you. Get used to people not approving your dream. Get used to your best friends turning their backs on you. Get used to people not believing in your dream. Because a true leader and a true ego knows that loneliness comes with success. But I got good news for you. If one eagle flies at the altitude of an eagle, then guess who he meets up there? Anytime an eagle meets a bird, it's definitely not a pigeon hood. That is why you have come here this weekend. These days you've come here because most of the people you live with are pigeons, and to keep your spirit of growth and vision alive, you need to hang out with other eagles who will motivate and inspire you. Because if you want to be successful, you don't hang out with people who aren't getting anywhere. They'd love for you to go with them. Someone who has nothing to do would love for you to have nothing to do with them. But if you want to become everything you were meant to be, you need to find people who share your dream. This is why the gathering is so important. The people you hang out with make you more like them. You change into the people you hang out with. Your siblings are the ones you are born with. You have to stay with them because of how cells work. You can pick your friends, though. Tell the person next to you, it's nice to be sitting next to illegal. Tell them to sit somewhere else if they are pigeons. Only eagles can fly. Say it with me. Eagles fly by themselves. One more time. Only eagles can fly. The second rule of an eagle. Eagles are able to see. There is no animal in the animal world that can see like an eagle, and no bird within the animal kingdom. The eagle is a weird bird. People say that an eagle has two sets of eyes, but only one view. Scientists have shown that an eagle can see clearly up to 5 miles away. That is, an eagle 5 miles above the earth can look down and see a rat or snake. It's the only bird that can fly high and see clearly. Because of this, the eagle is known as the most focused bird in the animal world. It's possible for the eagle to know everything but only see one thing. Note that down. Always keep your attention on one thing, even if you know a lot about other things. No matter what you do, don't try to be good at everything. When an eagle sees its food, even though there are a million other things around it, from 5 miles up, it focuses on the rat and dives like a bullet toward it. And he never takes his eyes off that rat. No matter what kind of clouds he passes through, no matter what kind of wind come against him, no matter what kind of rain that may be falling, it doesn't matter what kind of trees that may be present, it doesn't matter what kind of other animals are running around him. He sets his focus and he targets his prey, and he swoops down like a bullet and doesn't leave the target until he strikes. I want to say to you, many of you have come here and you've lost your focus. You've been discouraged the last 12 months since I saw you last. Some of the people in your downline left you, some of your people who you thought were going to be faithful and going to be motivated. They're the ones who didn't come through. And you came here hoping that you would hear something to give you encouragement to go back and believe again. Well, I got news for you. Eagles are not distracted by pigeons. I challenge you tonight, this weekend, to put your vision back on paper and put your goal back in sight and leave this convention saying one thing and one thing only. I won't quit until I strike. Don't allow things that are around you to distract you from that which is in you and your dream. Food is in you. The third principle of an eagle, eagles only eat live food. We care a lot about this. They only eat live things. Eagles don't eat grapes. Apples are not its food. That animal doesn't eat dead ones. Vultures do, in fact, eat dead animals. That's why they look so bad. Tell your friend, I see why I'm so pretty now. Tell them, please, an eagle will only eat live things. Why is this important? Because of the way its digestion works. An eagle needs fresh meat. That means that if you want to reach the heights that God intended for you, if you want to be as successful as you were created to be, and if you want to keep reaching new heights in life, You can't rely on old, useless, frustrating, or forgotten information. Every day, you need to feed yourself new, interesting, and energizing information. That's why this group has given you cassette tapes, movies, booklets, and magazines that you get from time to time. Why? They do this because they know that people are food for them. People who ask you, "Are you still in that business? Are you still not tired?" And your answer is no. "I'm ready to go now that I have a tape from Dr. Myles Munroe." You need to keep your eyes healthy. Driving force. Like an eagle needs food that is alive to stay alive, your metabolism as a dreamer needs food that feeds your dreams. This is why I am very careful about the people I hang out with. In fact, I stay away from a lot of people because I think they are dead meat. You have had people in your life try to talk you out of your dream, which is why you need to be more protective of your vision than of your friends. Because not everyone cares as much about your dream as you do. But there are also people with dreams in this group and at this meeting this weekend. You need to get food that is alive. The fourth thing an eagle sees and believes. This is nice. After a test, an eagle will always trust. After a test, an eagle will always trust. Kindly write that down. I'll tell you a little about the history of eagles' lives because some of you may not know how they mate. This is something you'll enjoy. This is really cool. Eagles do something that no other bird does before they mate. If a male and female ego are interested in each other, the female ego does something I hope all women will do. A better husband is likely to come your way if you do this. First of all, the female eagle flies down to the ground. She picks up a twig in a beak and she flies 2 to 3 miles up into the sky. The male follows her. Then she reaches the height of about 2 to 3 miles, and then she does something strange. She drops the twig and she just watches the twig. As the twig falls, the male eagle chases the twig, and the faster it falls, the faster he flies. And the faster it falls, the faster he flies. And the faster it falls, the faster he flies. And he tries to target the twig. He catches the tweet in his claws before it hits the ground, and then he takes it back up to the female and he throws it in the air. The female catches the twig and flies even higher. And then she drops the twig again and the twig falls. And the male flies behind the twig. He chases the twig with all of his might. The twig falls. The faster it falls, the faster he flies. The faster it falls, the faster he flies. And he comes and he catches it and he brings it back up to the female. He throws it in the air, she catches it with a beak and she drops it again and he flies out to the twig. And they do this for hours. And when the female is convinced that the male is an expert in catching twigs, then, and only then, does she allow him to mate with her. Wouldn't that be great before you get married? Some of you looking at me funny say, "Oh, please, Brother Myles, don't say that. Tonight, my wife might go outside and throw up a branch. You men are so stiff with your outerwear on that you can't even catch it, huh?" Here is the main idea. There's no point in committing to someone you haven't had time to get to know first. You don't waste time on people who are interested in your business but aren't ready to commit to it. A lot of you have lost time trying to sell your business to people who weren't interested instead of them coming to you. Also, you worked on some people for hours, but they are no longer with you. You sometimes wonder if I could have had a rock with me, if I had spent those hours with someone else who was interested. Take this quote about the eagle with you. When you go back to your town, city, or job, you have to be a tester if you want to be a boss. Test people by giving them a job. Then watch while you give them a task. Watch how they get it. Give them the power to help you with some tasks, to see if they are serious about making the pledge. Because you care too much about your own idea to waste your time on people who don't care about yours or theirs, Remember that you can't make people see. They can only grow what they already have. Before you trust them completely, give them a test. As it turns out, faith builds over time. Test number 5. Because of this idea, an eagle is a strange bird. Eagles like weather a lot. Eagles like weather a lot. Eagles are the only birds that have ever lived. And in the animal world, the eagle flies toward the storm when it's coming. It's the crazy bird. Every other bird, when a storm is threatening, they run for cover. The pigeons find a hole and the ducks find a nest. But the eagle, when it sees a problem or a challenge, the eagle flies into the challenge rather than from it. No wonder why God himself compares himself with illegal. And then he says, I will bear you up as humans on wings of eagles, because you too are eagles. If you're going to be successful all the way back there, and if you're going to be successful over here, and if you're going to be successful around here, I got one reminder. Challenges are good for a leader. Challenges are good for a dreamer. The question, why does an eagle love storms? Guess why? Eagles grow to the size of 7 feet in wingspan. When a storm approaches, the eagle considers the storm an opportunity to relax. Strange bird. Every other bird runs away. But the eagle runs into the storm because he uses the storm's fury to set his wings and his pinions. And his pinions catches the wind of the storm, and suddenly that eagle is pushed up by the storm, and he is able to glide on the wings of the storm without having to work his wings. And so he rests what others run from. Can I challenge you tonight? Some of you are going through periods of discouragement. Maybe your business is slow. Maybe the economy in your country has not been doing as well as it should be. Or maybe you have lost some downline. Or maybe you have come into a situation where your family has turned against you. Or maybe you're no longer married. It's also possible that the death of a family member has made it hard for you to focus. The ego has a lesson for you to learn. No matter what you're going through or how hard life seems, that storm is here to make you better. You can use it to deal with disappointment, sadness, and highs and lows. You can also use it to fly higher than you ever have before. Challenges make you stronger. Challenges test how well you can handle the qualities that make you a leader. You will never be successful if things don't go wrong. People today believe I'm great due to the things I've already done. I started a group that now has members in 74 countries. I am the boss of a huge million-dollar company that has been founded. Along with other people, governments, and groups, I have helped them see that they can do the same. But tonight I need to tell you something. I look very pretty when you see the front of me, don't you think? I look good. I'm short, dark, and pretty. That's what you see in front of you. But if I show you my back, you'll see scars, cuts, and sores that are getting better. You'll see how much victory costs. If you give an eagle a task, it will get stronger. Yet, an ego doesn't mind hard things because they make the ego stronger. Saturday and Sunday, face your problems head on and tell them, I'm not going to run away from you. I'm going to show you what I can do and use you to get better. The 6th rule of an eagle is that it gets ready for training. This makes them strange birds. Kindly write that down. An ego gets ready to train. An eagle spends time helping other people grow. Some of you might be wondering how a bird could think that deeply. Yes, that's correct. Pay attention to this. This is the only way an eagle makes its nest. Pay close attention to me. The first thing an eagle does when it wants to build a nest. Are you all set? He finds a deep crack in the cold rock. He makes sure it's high. He checks to see that it's split and that it's cold up there. He builds it on rock that is already there. After that, he flies away. Once he finds a cold spot, he picks up pieces of wood and lays them out in a pattern. He then flies to the ground and finds cloth and rag. He gets them back and puts them on top of the sticks. After that, he flies back to earth and does something very strange. The bird of prey looks for thorns. There are thorns on top of the cloth. He finds them and brings them back to the nest. Thorns that are thick, sharp, and dangerous. The bird of prey finds. Then he flies back to the earth and he brings back cotton and cloth and puts it on the top of the thorns. When that is completed, he goes back to the earth and he brings straw and put on the top of the cotton. And then he goes back to the earth and he brings back cotton on top of the straw. And when that nest is soft and warm and comfortable, then the female eagle comes and lays the eggs. Why did the eagle build a nest that way? Because the eagle invests in training others. You cannot be successful in life unless you are willing to invest in the development of other people. There's one thing you are designed never to do, and that is to live an isolated life. This company is built on people, not on money. This company is built on relationships, not on an organization. This company is built on trusting other people with your own word. It's not built on some cold, callous structure. This company is built on your ability to train other people. If you're going to train other people, you have to prepare and invest the time to train them. Watch the eagle. The eagle, after the eggs are laid, she sits on the egg. And when she is tired, the male sits on the egg and they trade places. By the way, that's good advice for marriages. Don't let your wife do all the work. Sit on the egg sometime. Brothers, we are in this together. If we are married, you cannot be successful in the eagle team. If there is a division in your marriage, if there's friction, if there's disagreement, because that environment is not conducive to focus like an ego. If your spouse does not agree with your dream, you're going to find it very difficult to focus because the home is the nest. So I encourage you, if you are here without your spouse next year, bring your spouse with you so they can capture the dream. The fact that there are so many husbands and wives here makes me so happy. That's how it was meant to be. Because there is a strange key to division. It's mine to give you right now. Write the word. I look down. Say vision by everyone. Say it out loud. A little more loud. Please write down one more word. It's not a word though, it's a term. Write the word DI. The word die has a meaning. It means two. 22. That prefix always means two. It breaks up the word. This is what the word vid means, one. It's the word divide if you put die in front of it. This means you split the one. It means one. Adding the word die before kotomi makes the word dichotomy, which means to split in two. If you have the word vos, V-O-R-C, it means single power. You get the word divorce when you put the term die in front of the word vozdin. This means that the power is split. The word vision comes from the Latin word optica, which means single sight. What do you get when you put the word die in front of the word vision? What do you have? Say it out loud. If you don't want there to be disagreements in your family, your company, your downline, or your business, then as the leader of your downline, you must always communicate and enforce the vision of your company so that no one else comes up with a different one. Because where there are two views, there is conflict. That's why there is only one man running this business. People say that any animal with two heads is a scary one. Business people should remember that their company should have a single goal if they want to be effective. Each eagle sees the same thing. We're going to make eaglets. They both sit on the egg. Here's the beauty. The new birds will join when the eggs hatch and the little egrets come out. Say eaglets with me. I'd like 1998 to be the year of geese. I want 1998 to be the year that 50 to 60 new eaglets hatch in your business. Good. That's a good place to clap. That means you got to sit down with your spouse or sit down with your friend and your partner and say, 1998, we are going to deliver these babies we carry. We have a vision of a downline of 300 by the year 2000. And this is going to be our dream. 1998, we're going to hatch 50 of them. When they hatch, the eagle does something strange. The birds begin to develop. It takes time. You got to encourage them. You got to meet with them. You got to show them the system of Eagle Team. You got to desire to be with them and talk to them and have meetings with them. It takes a lot of commitment to prepare and train people to be leaders. When they have grown their feathers and they have become strong and their wings have been filled out, guess what? They don't want to fly. Eagles were born to fly, but they are afraid of flight. Isn't that strange? Grown eagles will stay in a nest even though they are the king of birds and they were born to fly. That sounds like most of us. We were born to be successful. We were born with dreams on the inside. We were born with vision to accomplish great things. That's why you're here tonight. You were born to impact your community economically. You were born to make a footprint in the sign of history in your country. You were born to be an impression on history. You were born with that. But you're afraid to step out. Why? The greatest fear, is failure. You're afraid that if you leave your job and go full-time in the Eagle Team, then you might not be successful and all your friends will laugh at you. Or maybe you're afraid that if you do step out in Eagle Team's commitment and you become a multimillionaire in the next 4 years, that you will lose your friends. So you are afraid of success. You may be afraid that if you go out, you will have to work too hard, so you don't want to put your energy into it. It could be that you're afraid that if you go after your dream, it will take 10 years to make it happen. You don't need to wait that long. You're scared to begin. I have news for you, though. You could still fly, even though you're scared to start. What does the eagle do this weekend to get the egrets to fly? This weekend, my job is to do what a mother eagle does. Call me Mama Eagle. Some of you need some help to get taller in 98. I'm here to help you. Some of you need help. To get back on track with your dream, you need a little help. This weekend, Mama has come to help you. Some of you think you've made it. You're now a diamond, so take it easy. You shouldn't sit where I sit, because I'm going to make your diamond a jam. Do not be happy with what you have done. You won't believe you've made it until you're dead. These are the mom eagles. The mother eagle does a weird thing. The egrets she fed. These are the same egrets that she pets. These are the same egrets that she helped grow. The mother eagle goes crazy suddenly. Since it's time to fly, everyone. Let's say it together. It's time to fly. To everyone. Like this, please. Put your hands down. Tell someone, keep an eye out for my wings. Pay attention to my wings. Okay, are you ready? It's time to fly, everyone. One more time. It's time to fly again. It's time to fly. Help yourself out. Just because you're going to fly this weekend. Okay, you said it. That's why Mama Eagle will help you. The mother eagle flaps her wings suddenly. She puts it next to the nest. Big wings, about 7 feet long. She then starts to chirp and hoofdeen, to tell the birds to pick her up because it's time to fly. They don't move. She goes to the nest. You can see her push them out with her beak. And she kicks them out. They leave the nest and fall on the mountain's cold, hard rock. They don't like the cold, icy mountain either. They then jump back into the nest. They are pushed out with her beak when she goes back. She pushes them away with her head. They fall on the cold mountain when she comes. It's cold outside. They start to cry and scream. They then jump back into the nest. The nest is cozy and warm. She comes back and eats something. She then pushes them away again. They hit the cold rock. It's not warm. They then jump back into the warm nest. So Mama Eagle does something that suddenly seemed weird. It was their beak that fed them and kept them safe, and the beak that went over them, and the beak that was the source of their very lives. The Mama Eagle takes that beak, and she begins to rip away the cotton and rip away the straw, and she rips away the grass, and she rips away the clot, and she goes crazy, and all the clot and feather is flying everywhere, all over the mountain, down the mountain. It's all a frenzy. She just tears up the nest, and the little eagles are screaming and crying and shouting. Now I'm comfortable, leave me alone. But she's not even listening to them. She rips the nest and rips the nest until she gets down to thorns. When the thorns are exposed, the mother eagle takes a big wing and puts them on the rock again next to the nest, because she knows it's better to be on the wing than in the nest. The little birds begin to feel the thorns pierce their feathers and begins to pierce the skin. Blood begins to show as they move around on the uncomfortable thorns, and they began to literally hurt themselves because it's time to fly. Some of you have come to this convention this year because your job is nothing but thorns. Some of you have come to the point where it's uncomfortable to go to work because Eagle Team has become so much of an interest and success that it's now a contest between your vision and your job. The thorns that are piercing you on your job are messages that are telling you, fly now or live on a pension forever. You cannot be successful in a dream part-time. There comes a time when the part has to turn into a whole. Stay on your job until you can't stay anymore. But when you can't stay anymore, don't stay on your job. Otherwise, you will never learn the joyous and the beauty and the freedom of flying like the eagle. The little eagles jump out of the nest onto the wings of the mother. Oh, they're so excited. Why? It's soft and warm, it's comfortable, and they hang on with their claws, and they begin to just settle down on the wing. Oh, and there are 3 chicks on the wing. It looks lovely. Oh, Mom. Thanks, Mom. Thanks for being so nice to us. They're happy. The mother eagle does something very strange when all her babies are on the air and her pinions are around them. The mother eagle then jumps off the mountain with the chicks on her wings. She flies 3 miles into the air, 4 miles above the mountain, while the chicks scream on her wings. When she thinks the air is getting thin, she shuts her wings suddenly, and the egrets start to fall. You can guess who is watching them fall. Do you remember the person who caught the branch? The person who caught the branch now has a job. He has been checked out. That's why the mother eagle drops them, and the father eagle can see everything. They scream and cry as they fall, and they twirl and fall over in a way that doesn't make sense. Why? They are young members of the Eagle Team. Some of you kicked people out last year with your own tests and your own little below you. You gave them work to do, but they stumbled, fell, and weren't very steady. They didn't show up on time or do the work, but don't throw them away. Keep an eye on them and don't always help them. Let them go through what you're going through. It's important for them to fail, because success comes after a string of mistakes. Let them fall for a while, but don't get too far away. They need your help like a rock or a ruby. You don't have to get in the way all the time, but they need to be close to you. They should learn how to fly. In fact, the Eagle Team will do just fine, as long as you can teach other people how to fly. Egos that need to be in touch with everyone they work with are not egos that work. The future of this great company lies in your ability to free others who are in flight, so they fall. About 50 to 60 yards above the ground, just before they hit, the mother eagle watches the father eagle. He dives like a bullet suddenly. He catches them, climbs up, and goes up. They are so happy that they hang on and say, "Thank you, Dad." "Thanks, Dad." "We love you, Dad." It sounds like the diamonds are going to help, right? That call you get from time to time from your boss asking, "How are you? I have work to do with you. I believe in you." That's the wing coming to grab you. The parent eagle lifts the young ones higher and higher. They think, "We're going back to the nest." She goes by the nest, and he does too. And she takes them back to where the mother eagle is. And then he drops the eagles again, and they fall, catches them again, picks them up again. He drops them, they scream. But now they begin to realize, hey, you know Daddy ain't gonna stop doing this. we better start using our weight. You see, your diamonds and your rubies and your upline are not going to stop pushing you into responsibility. So, you might as well learn to run this business by yourself. This weekend, I want you to fly to a height you haven't flown before. Use some vision you've never used before. Begin to use the imagination God has given you to become the best you can be. Be like the eaglets who begin to realize it's time to fly. If we never learn to fly, we're going to keep going up and down. Life will never be a constant glide if we never learn to fly. Some days your bills are paid, some days your bills ain't paid, some days your bills are paid, some days you can't live like that forever. You don't have ulcers and depression and growth and cancer and migraine. If you try up and down life, decide today that you are going to make 1998 the year that you extend your wings to the limit where you've never been before. Suddenly those little birds begin to realize, hey, we can do this. Look at me. I'm doing what Daddy did. Look at this. Hey, we're doing it. Oh, there's the ground. Oh. And they started, hey, I'm mounting up like my papa. Look at that. I'm acting like a diamond. That's why in this company, we want you to dress like a diamond, even if you ain't one yet. We want you to walk like a diamond. We want you to talk like a diamond. How you doing? Great. How's life? Fantastic. How's the business prospering? Diamonds talk positive, but every diamond used to be a rock. Don't be impressed with diamonds, because all diamonds begin as a piece of wood that was petrified under pressure, that was crystallized into crystalline compound, that became a crystal, and the pressure made it a diamond. Diamonds take 1,000 years to form. These people you see sitting up here, who you are so maybe impressed with, remember there's a price. They've been under pressure for years. It has cost them many, many hours and years and days of frustration. Under pressure, diamonds are made. Everybody begins as a piece of wood, but only those who stay under pressure become diamonds. They need to learn how to fly. The day finally comes when the baby eagles are high enough to see where mom and dad are flying. They too have turned into eagles. They were meant to be birds of prey. One last thing I want to say before I end tonight. Every eagle gets old and dies in the end. But there's something very strange about eagles. I want to end this note tonight because you will have a good day tomorrow. Heaves get old on an eagle as he ages. The eagle goes to a mountain to find peace and quiet. Please pay close attention. The eagle also does something that no other bird does. The eagle goes to a quiet spot in the mountains, high up in a crack in the rock by himself. The eagle starts to pull out his feathers and throws them on the rock. He also takes his wings and wraps them around his front legs. He does it with the other wing too. He pulls on his feathers and throws them off the mountain. He pulls the feathers off his chest and throws them on the rock. Then he pulls himself free from every feather he can reach. The eagle stands there, its skin bare and bloody. This is what an eagle does. The eagle stays there until its new feathers grow in. And while he stays there in that quiet spot, you understand what the great Bible writer Isaiah said. Isaiah tells us to wait for the Lord. This means that we should all find comfort in God and our work, because we all get tired and angry. When ideas get old, business gets dull. We think this isn't going to work and won't be successful. You look and feel old. Because I've been successful in business, I can tell you that whenever that happens, I go somewhere quiet where no one else is. And I start to rattle my cage, letting out all of my fears and anger. As I start to vent my anger at my maker, I show all of my obvious flaws and complain about how sad I am and how things aren't working or going the way I thought they would. And in that quiet place, I started to tell them how upset I was. What does he do? He is beginning to make me braver. He starts to show me new things. He starts to change my vision. He starts to show me that being down for a short time is just a chance to be brave, because you can't be brave without fear. and he gives me new strength. And scientists say that the eagle is stronger when it comes back to the top because its feathers are brand new. When you're upset, go back to your quiet spot. Go back to the place where your dream began. Track down a place to meditate that is close to where your real potential and skills come from. Don't just rely on what people know. I promise that you will soar like an eagle again. And just like Isaiah said, wait on the Lord, and he will make your heart strong. You'll fly like a bird when you get there. Don't be afraid. You'll run. You won't pass out while walking. You will fly over the pigeons. I want you to join me at the top, and I expect you to do so. The place where birds fly is fun. Goodbye. Thanks a lot.